Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Daily's 2A News. I'm not sure how this bill got past my radar, but this is a pretty significant one. We're going to be talking about H.R. 5917, not to be confused with H.R. 5717, which is kind of a national gunpocalypse. H.R. 5917 seeks to repeal protections that we have currently that would keep the government from creating a database and tracking us and our purchases and allowing that database to be shared amongst other agencies like the ATF. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, before we get started, if you guys want to know how to find all of these things, maybe before even a video is made about them, or you're just curious about where they stand, and maybe you want to read the text, or you want to see what the history is there any movement on a bill, it's really easy to do so. All you have to do is go to congress.gov, and then there'll be a little search bar at the top, and you can type in guns in the year that you're referencing, so 2020, and it will populate a list below that of all the different things that are currently sitting in Congress, whether it be a bill or a resolution. It'll also give you a little short title, which will kind of tell you what that bill's about. And if it interests you or you want to find an update, you can click on that. You can read the text. There's also a tab that'll give you the history so that you can actually see what the progress of that particular bill is, whether it sits in committee, it's waiting a vote, or something like that. You can find all that information at congress.gov on your own and be as informed as you want to be. You can check back every single week to see if something new was introduced, and just kind of gets you in the know so you know a little bit better about what Congress is supposed to be doing on your behalf. So again, today we're talking about H.R. 5917, and the short title on this one is the Gun Records Restoration and Preservation Act, which should pretty much tell you everything you know about this bill. So the bill starts out with the findings, which is basically the reasoning behind the bill. Okay, so the reasons why they want the restoration and preservation of these different records. Okay, so if you read that down, you'll see all the reasoning for that. As you go down, it's going to tell you all the list of things that the bill is going to change. But the one thing that really caught my eye about this one was the very last section, which is section 5, where they want the repeal of requirements to destroy instant criminal background checks records within 24 hours. So right now, okay, they are not allowed to hang on to those NICS reports. So when you fill out a 4473, that gets submitted, it gets approved, and you move on from the transaction. They're not supposed to keep those records. Those records are supposed to be destroyed so that there's not essentially a national registry and some list of paperwork or a database that they can then search for you and your ownership of something, things like that. That's not supposed to exist. They want to repeal that with H.R. 5917. They want to repeal that so then that they can start making or keeping records and preserving records from these transactions. So what they're saying in this bill is that the ATF and local law enforcement and national law enforcement has a hard time figuring out where things are coming and solving crimes because they don't have all of the information that they could potentially have because these laws currently exist to protect us, to protect our privacy, and to protect our rights. They don't like that we have our rights and our privacy protected. This is our legally owned, privately purchased, and owned property. You don't have a right to know what I have. This is my property. And unless there's something otherwise stated, then no, it shouldn't be that way. I mean, we're talking about a national issue here. So they want to get rid of that so that law enforcement could then track you down should something happen, even if it wasn't on your behalf. They want to know who has it. They want to be able to access what it is, where it came from, when it was sold, all that stuff. They want to create a national database and a national registry based off of, even though they're not going to call it a registry, being able to search a database of information that's provided through the NICS system seems like a registry to me. But that last section is the one that really caught me on this one, and this is one that we want to pay attention to. So right now it's currently sitting in committee, and it's got a crap ton of co-sponsors. I mean, if you look at this thing, I know you guys aren't probably going to be able to see this, but there is an entire paragraph of co-sponsors for this. So there is a lot of people that are backing this thing up. And that's another thing why it's so important. If you see something that has a sponsor, and maybe it's been sitting there for about a year or almost a year, and it still only has maybe one sponsor or one or two co-sponsors, means that people aren't really on board with it. But when you have that many co-sponsors, it means there's a huge amount of support for it to continue forward. So that means that this is definitely one that we need to watch. Obviously, we're still watching, 3254, 5717, 5917, and all the different bills that are going through right now. Like I said, there's 327, 324 resolutions and bills that are going through right now, like making June a month. Anyway, you see it if you search it, but there's all sorts of stuff going on right now. But I think this is one that we definitely need to watch out for, because we don't need that database. We don't need a registry, a national registry on what we own. So just be aware, research it if you want to research it a little bit more, but HR 5917 is definitely a bad one. So I want to thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.